Okay, folks. Quick and hopefully interesting lesson for you. Um, I was looking. Well, you can see this happened over here. The futures fell out of bed this afternoon. But there's something else that I think is pretty interesting that I wanted to show you, and it just really kind of supports the way that I and thousands of other traders think about the market, right? So if you look here, right, way back here on May 30th, right, you see this high, right? And then you have a lower high, kind of the same lower high, lower low, lower low, right? Then you have this bounce back up here. It takes out this high, or this high, whichever way you want to think about it, takes that out. And then holds right here as a low and bounces, right? So you can think, oh, we're back off to the races, that kind of party, right? Well, not so quick, because we put in a lower high here, break this low, right? And then suddenly you have something to think about, right? Because you're like, have we resumed the downtrend, right? Well, you get confirmation here, lower high, right? You can kind of tie those together if you want, but either way, lower high, lower low, lower high, much lower low, right? This is kind of the mega confirmation, if you will. It broke this kind of longer running support area right here, right? So this, if you think of this as like a box, right? It broke that. And now, I mean, who knows? I suspect that at some point we'll get a bounce back to this as resistance, right? It will support. Now we'll get it bounce back to it to test it as a resistance level. And in all likelihood, roll over and go lower yet again, right? But the most interesting thing that I wanted to take a look at with you today is, let's look at this on descending time frames, right? So if I can go all the way back to the 30th, yeah, somewhere back in here. There you go. There's the 30th, right? So you see, it's kind of the same thing. You got this bounce to here, right? Pull back, roll over, broke this low. So now you're back in action, especially if this high holds, which it did. So down, 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 down you go, right? If we break this down even further and take a look at the 15-minute, right? It's a little bit harder to see because you can't see the individual candles at this point, but you can see the turns, right? Right. And let's go down one more. What I really wanted to do was go down all the way down to the 1 minute, but well, maybe I'll go down to the 1 minute and just not worry about going back to the 30th. But okay, yeah, so that's as far as we can go, right? So you see, same thing here, right? And it's jagged, so it will make it hard for you to stay in the moves. But if you have the overriding context, then it should make it easier for you to not jump out, especially once you're in profit, right? One of the hardest things for traders to do, but if you want to make money doing this, you're going to have to get better at it. So let's just drop down to the 1 minute, and you can see here, right? This is as far back as I can go. And really what you're looking at is the beginning of today's trading action earlier this morning. And you got this down, bounce back up, right? But it was putting in increasingly lower highs, right? And it was stalled for the most part right here, right? Kind of all day until ultimately it got over here. It didn't break that until over here at like almost 2:30, right? So that's it on this. I just wanted to point up, when you hear traders say prices trend in all time frames, so if you can get the context from a higher time frame and work within that context on lower time frames, you really kind of put the wind at your back and make it much more reasonable that you'll be able to profit from the moves and the trade setups that you see. All right. So anybody have a question about that, please don't hesitate. This is the Art of Simple Trading. These lessons, as if you will, are at no cost to you. And hopefully they do you some good and you're able to make use of them and make a ton of money. All right. So that's it. We will see you at the next video. Take care.